Hi, I'm Pierre. I'm the market lead for our tax and accounting division at Thomson Reuters in MENA, and I'm extremely pleased to be joined today by
Amanda Powell. I am the CFO of ME Digital Group. We have a number of websites, two main ones that you will have heard of, which is expatwoman.com and cabone.com, and we've recently launched a new marketplace called critique.com, which is for gifts. That's my plug over.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for being here with me today. So as VAT is being introduced in the GCC for the first time in the UAE and in Saudi on the 1st of January 2018, so being in the e-commerce business as you are, so how have you gotten ready for VAT? If you kind of take us through the kind of journey that you've done over the past few months to kind of get to a point where you will be ready, or as much as possible, on the 1st of January 2018.
Well, I'm quite delighted that VAT is coming to this part of the world. I know that sounds a bit strange, but I am an Anorak accountant. I have been enthralled by all the process that we've been going through in our company to be ready for VAT. And so anyone who's talking to me, all I talk about at the moment is VAT, whether it's at home or at the office. So I'm probably getting a little bit boring, but yes. So we've gone through. We're a SME, so a small company, but we have gone through a journey. We've had, which we've done all internally, because we have in my team, I have 5 qualified accountants. So. We had a workshop together. We took apart all the laws that we had and broke it down. We separated into different working groups because we have 3 different companies. How VAT was going to be impacted on each of those companies. We came out with a checklist that we needed to do in terms of areas of clarification that we didn't know the answers to, areas where we know that the details will be in the executive regulation. And areas of our systems that we need to change. And in fact, in one of the companies, we're completely changing the way we're going to be accounting next year on the back of VAT coming out, which has been a lovely challenge for us to get to grips with.
I bet. And I guess moving on to that then, how do you think VAT will change the way businesses operate today in this region?
It's going to have a significant impact particularly on smaller companies, because maybe in the past smaller companies haven't been doing all the kind of accounting records that they should really be doing, and the disciplines haven't been there, and they're going to need to be there from next year. I've got the background, I come from the United Kingdom. I was brought up on VAT, on how to account for things and to always have your invoicing. So as part of my normal working protocol, if you like, I've always followed those disciplines. So all the companies that I've worked for, I've made sure that those protocols are already in place. So we're well suited and ready for what's coming. But there'll be a lot of companies that don't, because they haven't needed to. Maybe they haven't got the expertise in-house. So that change is going to be quite dramatic for them next year, I think.
And so what's your view on kind of the state of readiness of companies then when it comes to VAT in the UAE?
I think particularly smaller ones, I think everyone's sort of thinking, oh, it won't happen. It's not going to happen. I think they've got a little bit of a blind spot. I know it, because I speak to them and I say, it is coming. You can't deny it's coming. So I think we're going to have some problems for some companies, yes.
What would be your one piece of advice you would give to any SME out there that is watching this video right now and hasn't started to get ready for VAT? What do you think, in your view, should be the next step?
They can't not do nothing. That's one thing. If that's a double negative, you know what I mean. They have to do something. And even if they're a little bit late, at least they've got to get started, and so they're going to have to go through all the transactions that they do, work out how it's going to be affected VAT. They have to look at their invoicing significantly. That is, invoicing is the most important thing. And then also they do need to do the VAT registration. I've done one of that. We've got 4 companies that need to be registered. I've done one of them already. And it was a really lovely process, very easy to do. It's quite lengthy, but you can save it as you're going along and go back and fill out some more details. So it was quite I was very impressed with the portal. So I think I won't have any problems with that. I'm a technophobe and I managed it. So yeah.
And I guess what are your views on the kind of the fines that were already published by the FTA in the UAE, right? Because there seem to be a very hard line on some of the deadlines, and if you don't comply with the deadline, the fines already are there, and they are quite significant. So what are your views on that?
I think penalties are put in place to make sure that people will comply, and if they didn't put the penalties in place, then the chances are people wouldn't comply. So it's sort of a means to an end. For businesses, VAT, other than the administrative side, VAT will not cost companies. There's a little bit of cash flow, but if they're not complying, these penalties will hit their bottom line. So it's absolutely imperative that we cannot be suffering the penalties, because they are, compared to the VAT, then they're a lot higher than 5%. So yes, so it is, yeah, we need to comply.
When it comes to e-commerce, is there anything you think would be useful as a region to have to deal with some specific issue that you might be facing within that particular industry?
Yes, I think it would be very helpful if there were maybe a working group that can go across the e-commerce companies, where we can all agree on one method of how we're going to capture some of our transactions, because they're unique. And as long as we agree on what we can do, then everyone can stick to that particular way, yeah. and everyone will be compliant. Whereas I think at the moment we're probably going to get some companies will do it one way and some companies possibly will do it another. And of course we want to get it right. We want to comply, but because we're not we're not one of the specified sort of banking industry or the mainstream industries. Yeah. We haven't sort of been singled out for any particular rules. But yes, I think that would be helpful, because I think everyone would like some guidance, even a sort of collaborative. We could do it we could have a working group across the companies, everyone meet, decide on some of the grey areas, get them sorted, and then we'll be all happy.
Sharing knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, between pairs, which
because I've researched sort of where in the jurisdictions around the world, and they of course they do it different ways. There's some new VAT laws coming in 2017 for some of the European companies and how they're treating VAT and e-commerce. So it's not a hard and set rule. I said there are choices, so some guidance would be appreciated, actually.
No, makes sense. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.